Hi everyone, welcome back. I'm going to do a quick two-page layout or one-page layout. I'm going to start by matting a piece of 11.5 by 11.5 inch pattern paper on a 12 by 12 piece of brown cardstock. And now I'm just going to trace a flourish onto this green pattern paper because I want to do a layout with a tree and some rolling hills, that kind of thing. But I didn't want the green directly on the blue, so I am matting it on white and just cutting it so there's a little 1/8 of an inch of white showing at the top. And now I'm going to put foam squares on the back so that this will come forward visually and give more of an impression of a hilly landscape. I'm going to do the same thing with this piece of green. I'm going to cut it into a hill shape and mat it on white, and then trim the white so that there's an 1/8 of an inch of white border showing. And I thought I was going to put this one in front of the hill. I kept moving it around and I didn't really like it anywhere. And then I thought, oh, I'll just put it behind. So I'm just going to peel up the layout I have stuck down and put that behind it. And now I actually like how that looks a lot. It gives even more dimension. This is a piece of brown cardstock that I have stuck a Hambly wood grain transparency to and freehanded into the shape of a tree. So now I'm going to put pop dots on the part of the tree that will be in front of the blue pattern paper, and at the bottom I'm going to put glossy accents where it's going to be on top of the grass. And so I'm going to just adhere to the layout. And now I have cut out this picture of a lizard that I took, and I want him to look like he's climbing down the tree onto that journaling spot. So I stuck just his head to the journaling spot, and now I'm going to journal all around it. And this is a Sassafras Last sticker, and I'm just going to actually peel the back off of it and then finish peeling the pieces of foam tape off the back of the lizard so that he'll have a little dimension from the tree, but not as much dimension as if I had used my pop dots. Now, to keep the label from sticking to my layout, I'm going to add pop dots. Now I have a photo from the event. I'm going to round the corners. And I'm going to round the corners of this photo of myself. I have several portraits of myself that I use on layouts where I was present for an event, but of which there are no pictures of me. So now I'm just rounding the corners with some white photo mats. And I'm sticking the photos to the mats. And now I'm going to adhere them to the layout with some ATG on the larger photo and pop dots on the smaller photo, so it looks like it's kind of floating up there. And I'm going to set that aside and get to work on another project. I have these stickers that are all the same font but different colors, and none of the fonts had all the letters I needed for my title, which was Hello Mr. Lizard. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use Versamark and ultrafine white embossing powder to change the color. So right now I am sticking a glue dot to the end of an eyelet setter, and then I'm going to stick the letter to the eyelet setter and dip it in the Versamark ink pad, make sure it's covered really well, and then dip it in the ultrafine embossing powder and make sure it's covered really well. And now I'm heating it, and you can see it change color there. I'm going to dip it again to make sure I get a nice thick coverage. I wanted kind of a glossy, wet look. There you go, looks good. And so there you see they're all finished there. I've stuck them on the sticker backing to the journaling spot so that they wouldn't stick to things because they had adhesive on their backs. But the adhesive's a little weak now because they've been heated and everything, so when I'm done arranging them where I want them, I'm actually going to use glossy accents to stick them down to make sure that I have good contact and that they won't fall off. Alright, so there's my title, Hello Mr. Lizard. And the layout is actually about what we saw when we got to Florida from Virginia was a lizard, which is not something you'd see in Virginia, so it's kind of interesting. I'm just finishing gluing down the rest of the letters. And this O warped a little bit, so I had to keep holding it down so that the few places that were in contact with the paper would get a really good hold. And that's just how it goes sometimes. And this is a technique you can use if you have chipboard letters that you like the font but you want a different color. You know, you can use this technique to change the color of your chipboard letters. And now I want to add some clouds. This is from a piece of American Crafts pattern paper. I just cut out all the clouds to use as journaling spots because they look like thought bubbles. But on this layout, I'm actually going to use them as clouds. So this one I'm sticking down in front of the tree. And again, that's going to add dimension and depth to the page and give a feeling like, you know, there's distance involved. And so I'm just going to keep adding all these little clouds in front of the tree, and some I'm adding behind the tree. Some are behind the photos and some are a little bit in front of the photos. Just wanted them to have a lot of nice variety. And here's the layout. So now you can see there's the lizard, which is popped up a little bit off the tree, which is popped up. And there are the letters that I covered. And there you can see the whole layout.